इंग्लैंड की धरती ते सब तो पहला शहीद होए महान शहीद मदन लाल ढींगरा ते महान कवि अवतार पाश नूं बर्मिंघम विच भारतीय मजदूर सभा ਵੱਲੋਂ श्रद्धांजलि दी गई। भारतीय मजदूर सभा ਵੱਲੋਂ महान शहीद की याद विच शहीद मदन लाल ढींगरा हॉल बनाया गया, जिस दा उद्घाटन मदन लाल ढींगरा दे भरा दी पोती लीना ढींगरा ਵੱਲੋਂ किया गया, जिन्हां ने बहुत खोज करके मदन लाल ढींगरा हुणां ते एक सुमेंशन नाम की किताब भी लिखी है। दस दें कि अमृतसर के सब तो अमीर आदमी डॉक्टर दत्ता मल ने अपने पुत्र मदन लाल ढींगरा नूं पुत्र मनण तो इनकार कर दिता सी, जिस तो बाद 1907 ਵਿੱਚ मदन लाल ढींगरा जी पढ़ाई करन लई इंग्लैंड चले गए, जिथे उन्हां दी जान पहचान भारत दे आज़ादी घुलाटियां नाल हो गई अते ਉਹ भी आज़ादी की लड़ाई लड़न लग गए। 1 जुलाई 1909 ਨੂੰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਭਾਰਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਣੀ ਨੌਕਰੀ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਭਾਰਤੀ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਤੇ ਡਾਢੇ ਜ਼ੁਲਮ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਕਰਜਨ ਵਾਇਲੀ ਨੂੰ ਗੋਲੀ ਮਾਰ ਕੇ ਖਤਮ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਸੀ, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਚਲਦਿਆਂ 17 ਅਗਸਤ 1909 ਨੂੰ ਮਦਨ ਲਾਲ ਢੀਂਗਰਾ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਲੰਡਨ ਦੀ ਜੇਲ੍ਹ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਾਂਸੀ ਲਗਾ ਕੇ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ। ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਹਾਨ ਕਵੀ ਅਵਤਾਰ ਪਾਸ਼ ਦੀਆਂ ਕਵਿਤਾਵਾਂ ਵੀ ਪੜ੍ਹੀਆਂ ਗਈਆਂ ਅਤੇ ਦਹਿਸ਼ਤਗਰਦਾਂ ਹੱਥੋਂ 23 ਮਾਰਚ 1988 ਨੂੰ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਹੋਏ ਅਵਤਾਰ ਪਾਸ਼ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਸ਼ਰਧਾਂਜਲੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਗਈ।
Day that this is after the trial, and he is brought to Pentonville prison. So everything has happened very quickly. 25 days the assassination, 25 days is the trial, or less than that, and then 25 days later he's executed. No less than that, yes, something like that. So this is the 23rd of July 1909, and he's executed on the 17th, and on the 17th of August. 23rd of July, Pentonville Prison, London. The door shuts with a heavy metallic clang. The sound seems to go on, echoing in the prison corridors outside, reverberating from the walls of the cell and through the young man who has just been let in and left. He stands there, rooted to the spot, waiting for the deafening noise to subside, the interminable clanking of the keys and the locks and the echo of the footsteps. He listens carefully.
Thank you. First of all, it's my great privilege to meet my sister Lena.
Thank you.
And secondly, one Amritsariya meets another Amritsariya. It's not a question, but it's a kind of explanation. I'm very grateful that Savarkar's name has come out in the open, because it was lurking somewhat for those people, those who are reading the history regarding Madan Lal's sacrifice. My view is that Savarkar, as you rightly said, was a different person when he was here in the early part of the 20th century. But what Savarkar became afterwards, we all know what his ideology was, what he confessed.
देश सेवा विच पैर पाया, हुण लख मुसीबतां चलियां ने, शहीदों की चिताओं पर लगेंगे हर वर्ष मेले, वतन पे मिटने वालों का बाकी यही निशान होगा। जब शहीदों की अर्थी उठे धूम से, देश वालों तुम आंसू बहाना नहीं, पर मनाओ जब आजाद भारत का दिन, उस घड़ी तुम हमें
you on writing such an important piece of work, not just in terms of your family history, but also for the rest of us from South Asian diaspora and people that are involved in the struggle. I was a founding member of the Sheffield Asian Youth Movement. I was in my 20s, and the Asian Youth Movement sprung up in every major city. And in those days, as young people, we had to search for our martyrs and our heroes. We came to the stand of Bhagat Singh, Udham Singh. We didn't know about Madan Lal ढींगरा.
Before his time.
Yeah, it's such an important figure in the Hajj history.
And that's why I say that the people who knew about him, if I would go to Bengal and I would say ढींगरा, they knew about him, because they were active at exactly that time. they remembered. And also it happened in England, and that was sort of, my God, here is this man all on his own, standing up in a court in England, you know, and defending himself. And people had come and said, we'll defend.
A quote by Hardayal and what he said about Dhingra at that time.
Yes.
So maybe we could think a bit more about how to think about his legacy. So Hardayal in 1909 had said about him, Dhingra has behaved at each stage of his trial like a hero of ancient times. He has reminded us the history of medieval Rajputs and Sikhs who loved death like a bride. England thinks she killed Dhingra. In reality, he lives forever, and he has given the death blow to English sovereignty in India. In time to come, when the British Empire shall have and be reduced to dust and ashes, Dhingra's monument will adorn the squares of our chief towns, recalling the memory of our children to the noble life and the noble death of him who laid down his life in a far-off land for the cause he loved so well. To what extent do you think that happened in reality or not?
Well, it didn't, even though it seems to be picked up.
That you actually do refer to is his relationship with Savarkar, and you actually have a chapter at the end in your epilogue where you are questioning, you know, given what we know about some of the other beliefs towards other communities, and you know, would he have done the same thing, being aware of that transformation? Could you say maybe?
No, I think the young Savarkar, who was in London, was a revolutionary. He was a very sincere revolutionary. He wasn't in any way divisive. Yes, he took personally a lot of whatever it was, sustenance or imagery from his Hindu background, but just as much as they had meetings by Guru Gobind Singh, they had, you know, even his Indian War of Independence is a
lot about wounds and trauma of before you stopped and started exploring this, and to what extent have you found healing in writing the story?
well, it's a very subtle line where traumas and things that are difficult to deal with, that you don't understand, and that people say, "Karna kar, badi badi kar," can become a kind of an area of shame, of discomfort, of you don't know where and how and who you could talk about it with. You know, so from that point of view, yes, the journey of doing the research was very difficult, but it was healing. But then becomes the second thing is, how do I put it out there? Does it actually need to go out there, or is it just something I keep for me? But I was fortunate that
You are talking about the time Madanlal lived, and the first bomb was thrown again to a British judge, was by Khudiram Bose. You probably know, in 1899. He was 15 years old and he was hanged when he was not even 18. British hanged them. They did their duty, but they actually recruited our people to do all the propaganda against this revolutionary. Gandhi condemned Khudiram Bose.
Gandhi condemned Madanlal.
Khudiram Bose, and the whole, what they call, age of fire revolutionaries.
ਹਰ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਖਬਰ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵੇਖਣ ਲਈ ਸਬਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਕਰੋ ਚੈਨਲ ਕਾਂਸ਼ੀ ਟੀਵੀ। ਹਰ ਅਪਡੇਟ ਦਾ ਸੰਕੇਤ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਰਹੇ, ਦਬਾਓ ਬੈਲ ਆਈਕਨ ਅਤੇ ਲਾਈਕ ਕਰੋ ਫੇਸਬੁੱਕ ਪੇਜ ਕਾਂਸ਼ੀ ਟੀਵੀ।